Hi guys, welcome to yet another review. This time around I'm bringing you the Artti R3, their latest single DD. Again, in terms of the naming, they haven't yet reassessed the way they are doing things, and it's still a little bit confusing. This is a single DD called R3. I think that should have been the name of the R1 actually, which is a triple DD, and then the R2, which also is a single DD. I don't know. I guess they will have to think about naming things differently in the future. Well, at least I hope so. Anyway, this is their latest single DD, and I've also got here for review the Hidizs, the SD2, which is a little small dongle deck that you just connect it up to your phone like so. Let me just show you, and it just sits there over like that. It's got its pluses and negatives, I guess, but anyway, let's go by parts and we'll talk about everything. I've got here, like I said, the R3. The R3 is priced at about $25, so obviously I selected IEMs that would be priced at more or less that same price, and a few others that are just marginally more expensive. What do I have here? I've got the TRN Orca and the TRN Conch. That's about $17. That's about $29 right now. I've got here the Ziget, the Nuo, which is about the same, $25. I have here the Artti R2. It just made sense to have it here so you could compare, let's say, the latest with the previous single DD. I've got here the Celeste Chimera Wyvern, around the same $25-$26 price bracket. And I've got here an IM from KZ, which is the ZVX. I could have had the other DFI. To be honest, I just picked it was one that was at my hands pick, so I just got it and I brought that out. This can be had for about $20, even less. What can I tell you about the R3? Well, the R3, this is the box. It's got the graph, which basically when I measured it kind of was correct. They mentioned the R3 is using a beryllium coated driver. They talk about a sensitivity of about 101 dBs. It's using a 10mm driver, and they talk about an impedance of 33 ohms. The packaging is very basic. I mean, honestly, it can't really get much more simpler than this. Let's see if I can open it. Doesn't want to. Doesn't seem like it wants to open, but I'll get it. This is not going to beat me. There we go. It brings a little carrying pouch, some tips. The tips are not bad. The tips are these LED short type of tips, and they actually function quite well. Those are the tips I'm actually using. So a little carrying pouch. And then the cable, I'm also using the stock cable. I just left it with the stock cable, to be honest with you. I just thought, you know what, let's just leave it like this and see what comes out of it. I did try a better cable, to be honest. I'm not going to deny. I did try a better cable, and I didn't really see any change. This is just another, without wanting to spoil things for those that are wanting to watch the whole review, this is just yet another IEM. That's it. It's as simple as that. Anyway, let's talk a little bit more with a little bit more detail and start explaining why I'm saying what I'm saying, so that I don't get crucified. Before I do that, I've got here the SD2 from Hidizs, like I said, a little dongle. It brings these cables for usage with an Apple device, if you want, and a little adapter for you to connect up to your computer. So not bad, and considering it's just over $30, that's actually quite commendable that they were able to straight away already put all these little accessories. It's using the ESS 9270 chip, which is an entry level chip. And look, this is as simple as it can get. Okay, if we compare it, I mean, we're talking DSD at 64. The PCM support is 384 kilohertz. So it's nothing special. It's a basic dongle, but I was quite pleasantly surprised, and I mean, I did put it up against a TP50, which obviously is better. And to be honest with you, it held its own. Obviously, with these IEMs, I'm not talking about things which require a little bit more, a little bit more polish or something like that, or more, But with this, considering it's a relatively low-powered device, I believe this thing doesn't even reach the 40 milliwatts. Let me just confirm here. I don't want to mislead you, but it's a really low-powered device. It's just a 3.5 adapter out. But like I was saying, it actually sounded quite nice, and with some of these IEMs, like for example with the Nuo from Ziget, the matching was quite nice. With the Orca, it also had a nice. I like the way it matched, and the reason for that is simple. It is let's say a brighter sounding kind of signature that this has, and the Orca and the Nuo being a little bit more laid back in that aspect of the upper mids and treble. The added energy that this signature has in this implementation of the stack actually helped out those IEMs, make them a little bit more lively. Let's get there into it. R3. The shell is it's a very generic shell. I mean, you look at the shell and you look like you've seen this shell countless times before, from KBE or from KZ, from CCA, from many brands. It's not a shell which stands out in any particular way, form or manner. It's a plastic body with a metal faceplate. It's got a little kind of nice etched design onto it. Fits nicely. I'm using the stock tips and the stock cable, like as I mentioned before. Fits quite nicely. And the fact that the nozzle is the length that it is actually allowed me to fit the medium-sized tips and fit it nice and deep, which did help out in making the sound a little bit more pleasurable. What is a signature? It's a kind of a V-ish signature. It's kind of warm, but with a nice amount of detail. It doesn't have a lot of twinklies and sparklies up top. Let's put it that way. It's got a nice punchy mid bass to it. It's just a nice engaging fun signature, and it plays fine. Now the problem here is, or well, not the problem, but the thing here that we must keep in mind is it's priced at the value that it's priced, and at that value you have countless other IEMs which have a similar sound, and where the difference between them, all of them will be: does it have some added feature? Does it have tuning switches? Does it have tuning nozzles? Does it bring better accessories? So all these things start being taken into account, and if you don't have something which just genuinely makes you stand out, it becomes just one more product. Okay, and I think it's actually a pity, because RT did start out very well with the T10. Fantastic planar IEM. I mean, I've seen it as low as $60. That's a no-brainer there, honestly. It's a really, really nice sounding planar. Then they came out with the R1 with those triple drivers. Again, another very nice execution. And then they came out with the R2, yet another nice execution, this time on a single DD. With very nice, smooth sound. I actually included it in a review now recently with the Litz Myra, and I really like the way that the R2 plays. And now it seems that maybe they want to captivate another segment of the market, and they just launched a product which is just plain, just nothing special. While the others had a reason of being, the T10, planar, playing well, good tonality, nice, competitive price. I mean, you basically got, this is going to be a little bit of a long shot, but you got a lot of the similarities, or a lot of what was offered, like by the likes of, like for example, an S12 Pro at a very, very competitive price. And that's saying a lot. The R2, the same situation. The R1, the same situation. Triple driver, nicely tuned. It's nice, fun sound, plenty detail, very organic, very much like. It has a sound signature which reminded me a lot of the Panon serial. So it's got that nice, organic, old school kind of vibe with a nice executed bass, very nice IEM. And then the R2, the same situation for a single DD, absolutely fantastic. And now this one, I don't know. I'm not too sure, honestly. I'm not too sure what to make out of it. So as I was saying, I selected these IEMs because at the price that the R3 is, it goes up against the likes like the Nuo. And going up against the Nuo, I mean, and I'm not detracting anything from the Nuo. You could argue that maybe the Nuo has got a slightly better build because this does seem to be a resin shell and not plastic. The issue with the Nuo is a little bit of an inconsistency when it comes to the channel balancing. I've got 3 units. One unit, which is this one, is perfect. The other 2 had significant differences between the channels, and of those 4 individual drivers, left right, I was able to make another set which basically sounds the same, and then the third set is just let's say a parts set. And I've heard of other people also complain about it, so I'm thinking that maybe here, in terms of its consistency, it's not going to be the ideal. Sound wise, they are very, very similar, honestly, although this has got a more relaxed pinna gain and that there's a more abrupt or more normal pinna gain. There's really not much difference compared to the actually, let me get the ones that are in the same price. Compared to the Wyvern, a very different signature. Doesn't have the bass impact of the R3, that is true, but it's got a very nicely executed bass. This offers a sound which goes along the lines of the likes of the EPZ G10 or the EPZ Q1 Pro. So very nicely executed bass, relaxed, no bleed, very nice mids, upper mids, fantastic IM. Me personally, I like this sound more than I like this. This has got something which makes it stand out, let's put it that way. And, nice full resin shell, nice IM. Compared to its sibling, the R2, they are obviously differently. There's about $10 price difference between them. They're just over $10. But the R2 is a better IM. I like, again, more this type of tuning, which is what we also have there in the Wyvern. This is just a better IM. It just plays, there's no, it's a very smooth, elegant type of sound. Very, very, very nice type of sound. And it just, the price that it's got, I question, why not just save a little bit more? And if you have to have an RT single DD, go buy straight away the R2. Don't worry about the R3. Compared to the ZVX, the KZ, I mean, metal shell. Okay, forget now the cable and the tips, but metal shell, built like a tank, and sounding absolutely amazing with these LED short type tips on it. This thing sounds phenomenal. Honestly, it sounds really, really phenomenal. Which one would I choose? Definitely the ZVX. I'll be straightforward and say it without, just call it by what it is. This is just a more satisfying IM. Okay. So we've talked about that. Oh, finally, the 2 TRNs compared with the Conch. Sorry, with the Orca. The Orca does have a good thing going for it, which is the tuning switches. Also nicely built shell, but it's a little bit more warmer in its presentation. So I'm not going to say it's worse or better than the R3. I'm going to say this is a warmer presentation. So for those that don't like highs as much and like a little bit more relaxed vocals in terms of the female vocals, I would say this is probably the better choice, the Orca. As compared with the Conch, this is an IM. Right now you can have it put for under $30. Usually its normal price is just over $30. But when you contemplate that you have modular cable of a good quality, when you contemplate that you have the tuning nozzles which all offer different tuning setups, when you contemplate that you have an IM that's all metal built and actually fits nicely, although it's got this unusual shape, and it's got the price that it's got, however much it pains me to say this is a better purchase than the R3. It's as simple as that. It's just an overall better purchase. So there you have it, guys. I mean, I like RT. I really enjoy their products, especially the T10 is an IM that I listen to it quite often. But in the particular case of the R3, yeah, I think that they should have been a little bit more sensible, a little bit more, they should have contemplated better whether it was worthwhile going into this price bracket, because it is a very nice sounding IM. True, but it doesn't have enough to justify that it can beat the ones that I've selected here. Look, it's as simple as that. It is a nice sounding IM. It doesn't sound offensive. It doesn't, but it's just another one. It doesn't have something which makes it stand out, like for example the conch with all of the features that it has in terms of its accessories. Straight away it's probably, if I have to be fair, it's probably the most sensible buy out of all of these IMs that I have here. If you want to have something cheaper that sounds better, that makes more sense, and in terms, at least in terms of the build, it's also got a very unique build. The ZVX, I mean, come on, I've seen the ZVX down as low as $16. That's not really a lot of money for quite a bit of an IM. So that's it, guys. On the SD2 here, the little dongle. As I said, it performed quite nicely here with the Newark, performed quite nicely with the Orca, and then with the others, it wasn't offensive or anything of the sort. I just found that, for example, with IMs which are innately a little bit more brighter, like the case of the Conch, and to a certain extent as well the ZVX, it seemed to not run out of steam, but lose its composure in terms of how it executed that upper mids and that high frequency, especially when the volume was pushed. It kind of just became unsettled, let's put it that way. But honestly, for the price and for the unusual form factor, I think it's a cool little dongle. If it doesn't bug you that it inserts itself into the phone like I showed you, and so it can be a little bit precarious in terms of how you then go about using it and so on. But putting that aside, it's a nice little dongle. It plays good, matches. For me, it will be a better match for brighter sounding IMs. And why not? I mean, right now, like I said, you also can get a bundle between this and an IM also from Hidizs, which is at around $35 if I'm mistaken, which is good value when you consider you can get an IM and a little dongle for $35. Yeah, why not? Anyway, guys, let me just quickly show you now the graphs and we'll wrap it up. Hi guys, and welcome now to the graph section here for the Artti R3. Let me show you first the graph of the R3, and then we'll add the other graphs on so we can do a little bit of a comparison. Anyway, this is the graph of the R3 that I have in my possession. Nice big bass, definitely V signature. I mean, 71 to 84. We're talking a 13 dB gain on the bass, a 10 dB bass gain or pinna gain for the upper mids and treble. And it's like I said, it's a fun, engaging IEM, but it doesn't bring anything that is truthfully like a wow, something that you say, oh, okay, this is really unusual or not seen before. Let's start here with the TRN Orca. And the TRN Orca, I neglected to mention that it's got two settings. The setting that it makes the most sense is the 000 setting. In terms of the bass of the Orca, very nice. The RT sounds marginally a little bit cleaner, marginally more detailed up top. But I mean, the Orca is no slouch. You can see that's a nicely executed tuning. Pin again peaks at about 3K, drops off. No, really nicely done. Not a lot that we can falter at. Okay. The next one is the Conch. Similar tuning to the Orca, but completely different sound. Way more detailed up top. And with the added benefit that you can adjust the nozzles and so on and so forth. Compared with the R3, it's just a better IEM. I mean, not only does it have better accessories, but it sounds better, which is the most important. Okay, so that's that. Compared now with its brother, the R2, the bass is kind of similar. Okay, although I would say that the bass. Let me just change the color to something that will stand out a little bit more. I would say the bass of the R2 is better quality. Quantity is about the same, but then it's this area of the upper mids and the treble that I just like, the smoothness and the extension that exists, although it's very smooth on the part of the R2 versus the R3. The R3 is more engaging, more entertaining, true, but it just doesn't have the same polish as the R2. Okay. So that's the R2, and now we're going to show you the Zigat, the Nuo. Again, in terms of the bass, very similar, but although you by looking at the graph, you would think, okay, this maybe can be a bit of a match. It's got what seems to be like good extension past 10k. It actually sounds less energetic than the RT. It doesn't sound as I'm not gonna say forward is the best word, but it doesn't sound as present. The RT does sound a little bit more present, but once again, I don't want to sound like a broken record. That just isn't enough, in my opinion, to justify you choosing it over other IEMs. Oh, and I was forgetting the KZ ZVX. This is the KZ ZVX. Let me just change here the color, make it something that can be very visible. Let's make it a nice red. There we go. Take away the other red, the Nuo. Okay, that's the ZVX. The ZVX, yes, does not have the same amount of bass. The quality is there. I would maybe even perhaps go as far as saying that maybe it's got a little bit better quality because it's cleaner, so it's a little bit more snappy in its performance. And then the mids, upper mids, and treble are very well executed. Similar execution as you can see in terms of the past 10k. But the ZVX just sounds more detailed. One sounds darker and warm, the other one sounds colder and more clinical. And there you have it, guys. There's really not a lot more than I can say. It's a nice V-shaped IM. It's got a fun, engaging sound. But there's a few IMs here that I named which I would easily choose over the R3 because they just offer me. If I want to maintain myself in the RT world, I would take the R2, just save up for the difference and take the R2. The R2 is, in my opinion, in my books, the R2 is a phenomenal IM, really, really well done. And then with regards to the other ones here that I think are standouts as well equally, definitely the Conch. Without a doubt, the Conch is a standout. It's really good. And the ZVX, like I mentioned already before. That's it, guys. Look, not much more I can say. Any questions, please feel free to ask me, and I'll do my best to reply. Take care. Bye-bye.